Hi there, I am Myrna Loy, aka Dark Shades, aka Managing Director of Blackbright News. This video, it really is quite a serious one because there are so many homeless out on the street. A lot of the homeless have become that way because of a relationship breakdown, domestic violence. Landlords are meant to work with tenants and not evict, but they're too self-interested to do that. They need security of an income, and when there isn't any, they don't have any mercy. They're just like, if they can't get them out themselves, they get the bailiffs, from that program, can't pay, take it away to get the people out. If it's not that, it can be intimidation, racism, that also gets people out. Sometimes they get a possession order. Sometimes a legal owner has moved away. The landlord has locked you out. Property is linked to work, release from hospital or prison, loss of work, reduction in hours, expensive housing, and eviction due to a court order. All of these things contribute to homelessness. And it all started it's really got worse, compounded by the welfare reform. Do you remember when that came out in 2012, where the government, goodness knows why, decided to put in universal credit, which meant putting in a lump sum in the claimants' accounts. Now they're giving claimants a lump sum between £1,000 through £2,000, amounts they haven't seen in their lifetime, because normally their rent's paid, their council tax is paid, their electricity is paid, everything is paid. So when they get their money, that's for them to spend. And so it didn't sink in, and I don't think it has. Well, it probably has for a lot of them because now they're homeless. But then when they get this lump sum, I don't think they quite equated it. I think they knew it was happening, but they weren't taught how to manage that money. How can you go from spoon feeding people from broken homes, from unstable backgrounds, from people who've had no financial management training at all, to giving them lump sums and expecting them to manage their finances? It can't be done. And now, because they have mismanaged their finances and they have lost their homes, they're now being called intentionally homeless. And the council is not housing them, even though they've got children. So you've got parents on the street, single parents on the street with children, on the street, with nowhere to live. How can that be right? In 2013, the government reduced housing benefit, but agreed to pay previous amount of up to 9 months. But 9 months goes quickly. Benefit claimants used to being spoon-fed. This is a drastic change. And like I said, they've had no training. The government has not been able to empathise with them because they're from a different class. When you think about people who lay down these rules, they're middle class or upper class. These are people who have stable upbringings. They probably haven't come from broken homes. They're probably in stable jobs all their lives. So they know about reliability. They know about consistency. They know about money management. And they're putting that on people who have come from an abused background, who have come from unstable homes, who have been on the street for most of their lives. And they're expecting them to behave in a mature, responsible and disciplined way when they haven't had any training. It doesn't make sense. The universal credit replaced housing benefit for people of working age, as well as replacing income-related employment benefit, employment support allowance, we used to call that ESA, income-based job seekers allowance, and working tax credit, and in some cases, pension credit. That's a lot. That is a lot of benefits that they've clumped into one sum and handed it over to these people almost indiscriminately, because like I said, they haven't given them any training. And while universal credit is means tested, the amount of income and capital can affect your eligibility. The lump sum is given to claimants who have not been received any training, as far as I'm aware. I don't know many people on the dole, but I haven't heard of anybody saying that they went for money management training, or before they were given this amount they were told exactly what was what. And I mean, when you think that a lot of these families had children in order to get, no, I shouldn't say that. Having children was a criteria of being housed. And now what the housing people are saying is that even though you have got children, if you don't pay your rent out of the money we've given you, you're on the street. That must be hard to compute for people who thought the housing authorities cared about children. Obviously they don't, because if they can allow children to live on the street, what can't they do? And if they're unemployed, they have to do this diary for 13 weeks. It's supposed to be telling them what they've been doing, how many jobs they've looked for. I mean, I don't know what proof that is. I mean, when I was made redundant, I had to do that. I had to complete this little diary, all the people who I've been contacting, and you know what the result was. I mean, I don't know how far I don't know if they check it or not, but I thought it was a bloody waste of time. In the end, I got so frustrated with the system, I ended up, I don't know if I got a job through the job centre. Maybe, I think I did actually. I ended up getting 2 part-time jobs in the end, but it's not easy. And for me, I came from a very kind of, well, I'm quite an academic, put it that way. You know, I've got quite a few qualifications. So if you haven't, I mean, what chance have you got? And I know lots of people are taking jobs now and unemployment has decreased, but a lot of people are still in poverty. They're still finding it difficult to pay for rent, and they no chance of getting on the housing ladder. Bedroom tax, that came in, didn't it? I mean, they've taken that off again. I'm not quite sure why they did that, but they inconvenienced a lot of people by doing that, and a lot of people whose children went away to college and then came back, they ended up, you know, being overcrowded. So that was a nightmare. But I can understand why landlords are getting frustrated, because before they had the security from the government that the rent was going to be paid. So they all went out and bought these interest-only properties believing that they had a guaranteed income, only to find out it's up to the tenants, and the tenants weren't paying them. And so they're in a bind because they've got to pay their mortgage, and the tenants aren't paying it because they've mismanaged, and so they have to get rid of them. I don't know what. This isn't a good look for Britain. I mean, for anybody coming over to Britain. I mean, I went to Paris. Paris is just as bad, really, considering Paris is so expensive. The amount of people on the street there is the same like here. I don't know what to say, really. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. I just cannot believe that all these young people are on the street and the council won't house them because they consider them as intentionally homeless. I know I saw one of these programs where the girl had paid her rent, but the landlord just didn't want a council tenant in the house anymore. They could get money from another source. So the girl came out of that house with her child, and she was put into this high-rise building, and all the stairway stunk of wee, and there was dog poo, and the place, they gave her 150 to decorate it. If you saw the state of the place, it was absolutely disgusting. The housing people should not be allowed to rent those rooms to mothers who have children, especially in this particular girl's circumstances. It wasn't her fault. You know, if landlords can get money elsewhere, what has it got to do with her? She was paying her rent. So you can understand why homelessness has increased, and it's a really sad situation. Genuine claimants who are single and of working age don't stand much of a chance of getting themselves out of the poverty cycle because salaries are so low, rents and mortgages are high, and many landlords, like I said, are mercenary because they have invested in their properties and they need to get their mortgages paid. Like I said, I don't know if you've ever watched those programs. If you can't pay, we'll take it away. But they actually evict young women with their children, and all their belongings are on the street, sometimes in the rain. It's absolutely disgusting. And then they wonder why there's a rise in crime and a rise in drug taking and a rise in all these kind of things. Anyway, I just thought I would put it out there. Yeah. So that's all for now. If you do have any comments, please write below. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe, if you find it interesting, I tend to share information I think is important, because a lot of us, we go out into the world, we didn't have a life manual, parents didn't tell us anything, we've learned by default, by making mistakes. So I'm just putting it out there, hoping at least one person will be able to see this video and it can help them in some way. That's all for now. Bye.